My name is James Vogus and welcome to 5 Minute History. Today we'll be discussing the Cold War period, specifically between 1950 and 1951. Okay, let's get into it. First, the Korean War started when troops of North Korea, backed by Soviet weaponry, ammo, tanks, and even a few troops, went into the South Korea by crossing the 38th parallel. They then invaded that country. This act leads the U.S. government to get involved. The United States Air Force and Navy are ordered by President Truman to the peninsula. Then on June 30th, ground forces and airstrikes are approved against North Korea. Now to you, Aaron.
Hi, I'm Aaron, and I'll be telling you about when Truman announced to the world that the U.S. would be intervening in the North and South Korean conflict on the South Korean side. He did this on June 27, 1950, in order to try and prevent another nation to fall under the communist rule. Truman had already suspected that the USSR was behind the entire South Korean invasion from North Korea and was already being very cautious to try and not start a war. He also sent the U.S.'s 7th Fleet to Formosa in Taiwan to guard against the invasion of Communist China. Truman also gave the order to give military aid to French forces fighting against communist guerrillas in Vietnam. And now, back to you, James.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. Now, on November 26, 1950, Communist Chinese troops launched a huge counterattack against the U.S., driving the Allied forces back. It forced them back over the 38th parallel, where they got into a stalemate that lasted for 2.5 years. Now, to you, Noah.
Thank you, James. The first National Coast-to-Coast Alliance broadcast happened when President Truman talked about the alliance between the United States and its allies and Japan and its allies. This treaty was originally brought up and talked about on September 4th. The treaty was officially signed September 8th by Japan, thenceforth leading into its allies also signing the treaty. The treaty was a long-lasting relationship after World War II to help with all the fights against communism in its previous combat. Now to you, Aaron.
And back to me wrapping up this video telling you about the ANZ-US agreement between the United States, Australia, and New Zealand. On September 1st, 1951, the United States, Australia, and New Zealand all came together and signed a mutual security pact called the ANZ-US Treaty. For us here living in America, as we all are right now, the agreement was for an alliance to counter and fight back against the spread of communism to the Asian region and other specific regions around the world. For Australia and New Zealand, it provided protection against the threat of Japanese military resurgence. And New Zealand had a fear that if they were to fail to stand by America, it might compromise the whole agreement, which led to problems later in Vietnam around 1965. And that's all really for that day and that date. So I guess cue the credits.